Welcome to the Beach House with Mo and Steph. Come on in, pour yourself a drink, and join us out on the deck as we inspire, encourage, and empower one another to live authentic, audacious, above-only lives. It's all right here at the Beach House. Welcome to the Beach House with Mo and Steph.
Hey, we got a guest.
We do. We have a guest. We have Phoebe Montes here from Beauty by Phoebes. And Phoebe, you're going to tell us how we can keep ourselves beautiful through all the seasons.
Yes, absolutely. I am here to show you or to kind of give you some in-depth knowledge on some skincare, but also too to glam you up guys a little bit too, because I know it's so difficult to be able to just sit in a mirror, do what you need to do, and feel good about yourself without having the background knowledge of it. So I'm just here to make sure that you guys have that, so then we're prepared for every single event.
Wait, you got us ready for events. Are we going to an event? That's okay. We can go outside.
Hey, we got parties to go to. We got places to be. We have weddings. We got special occasions, whatever it might be. Even if it's just going to the grocery store.
You got Walmart, right?
Absolutely.
Well, you guys are probably wondering, where did we meet Phoebes? We met Phoebe when we went to a trip to the Ulta. It was a necessary trip.
It was a necessary trip because I was looking for a particular palette that I have not been able to find. I did find it now, but you know how it is when you have your favorite thing and then they stop carrying it. And it's like,
the worst. Absolutely the worst.
Yeah. Like, I need that.
So we had to go where people were.
Right.
So we went down there when we were down, both of us were down in Southern California. So we met the Phoebester because Monique needed a, what do you call it? Contour or something. The stuff under your eyes.
We want a concealer.
So she was sitting there and putting it on and I'm and I was looked at it and I'm like, oh, I need to have her on the show. So I talked to her and I said, Steph, come here. We need to do an episode with the Phoebester.
And so I was like, who's the Phoebester? I can't find my Urban Decay.
So Phoebe, and while Phoebe was doing my makeup, she had so much knowledge that I wanted to bring that to you guys because she specializes in, how would you say, not age or whatever, but
mature skin. I deal with all skin types, whether you're 16, 62, or anywhere in between. I love being able to specialize in that to make you guys all feel pretty. I mean, age is nothing but a number, and for me, it's like, why is it that we're not able to, be able to apply everything that we learn in school and things like that and not be able to apply it to every single person? Everyone should have access to feeling beautiful and to feeling good.
I think that is why we have her on the show. So we're going to just let you go. Just do your thing.
Cut her loose.
We're here to learn.
Yeah, no, well, absolutely. I have I already have my little notes written down here and things like that. But to kind of give you guys a little bit of, background on me, I've been a makeup artist for about 8 years now, 7 going on 8 years. I'm licensed. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. So I do hair. I specialize in skin specifically. Nails are not my thing. Don't ask me about nails. But when it comes to skincare and hair, that's my biggest thing. It's my biggest passion. Hair and your face are such a big window to the rest of your personality. It's a big, form of expression. I love to do makeup as a form of expression. I love to color my hair all different colors. Last time you guys saw me, I think I had purple hair. Now it's silver. So
I know. I'm like, something is
I just try to keep mine from being silver.
See? And that's the funniest part. I had a woman the other day too at work. She was like, oh my gosh, your hair is so silver. You know why? I'm over here, painting it black in order to avoid the silver. And here you are with just a whole head of silver hair. And I'm like, I love it. I pay good money to have exactly what you grow out of your head.
Oh,
funny story. I went through this phase. I don't know. I think it was maybe about a year and a half to 2 years ago. Was it, Mo?
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I am just tired of dyeing my hair. And hey, it's a trend now that people are doing the gray and silver hair that
yes.
and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna go for it. And
I absolutely.
like, how long is this gonna last? I'm like, no, Monique, I am doing it. I am natural.
Embrace the gray. It's time for the silver fox moment.
Yeah, I embraced the gray for about 3 months, and I was like, heck no, I'm out.
Well, because she was doing it, she was like rebuking it. Like she was handling it as like, I'm just tired of it. I'm just sick.
I'm tired of this gray. I'm tired of having to dye this hair all the time. I just want to be me.
Yes, and she does that when it comes to the length of her hair. When it gets to that certain point where it bugs you, then she's talking about, I gotta cut it off. But it's like, Monique, don't let me cut it. Then she cuts it all off. It's like, why? Why do you ask me to be your backup singer if you go wrong?
I don't want you in the band.
It's the cycle. We all go through it. I'll never forget.
I've been wearing the short hair ever since like 2012 now.
And I love it. It looks so flattering on you. Because for me, everybody's got to go through that cycle. 2 years ago, I cut my hair to my shoulders and I was so excited. I had all these pictures. I showed my hairstylist. I was like, this is what I want. And she was like, girl, are you sure? Like, this is not something you usually get. We have been growing your hair out for years. And I said, no, chop it off. I'm ready. I'm over it. I chopped it off and I was like, yeah, this is great.
Well, it's like, I always had short hair. Yeah, I always did the little pixie cuts, but I had it processed. And I decided I want to go natural. I don't want to have to deal with all the chemicals and all that stuff. So I did that.
Yeah, no, it's high maintenance. It's so high maintenance.
It is. And, it was good and everything. You're having to get it trimmed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so like this last year, I decided, I've been wearing this hair for a long time. So maybe I'll go and try and do the grow out. So let it grow out. I let it grow out because I'm like, naturals are natural now. Everybody's wearing them. So I let it grow out. But you know what I realized? Again, there is so much maintenance to that.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, okay, fine, I can make it look good, but look at all the work I have to do. Mm-hmm. So I had a cruise coming up. And I was like, before I go on this cruise, this hair has got to go because I don't want to be spending all my time in the cabin doing my hair when I can be out enjoying myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
we need that
long hair, gray hair, bye.
Kind of bringing it back to the whole gray hair thing too. I will never forget. I had this absolutely amazing teacher back in cosmetology school, and something that has sat with me, and I always tell all of my clients with me, because I have a lot of clients who are like, you know what, I'm so tired of the gray hair. I don't like it. I don't know why it's here, this, that, And one of the biggest things that she told me, and it's something that I've held so close to me now, is she told me, she goes, not everybody has the privilege to go gray. It is okay to embrace that silver that you have. Those are the years of the wisdom that you have. That's your gray hair is exactly what it is. It is, a memorial of something that you've gone through in your life, whether it's aging, whether it's getting over a stressor or things like that. So like now, especially for me, my mom, she has the beautiful like gray strip just right in the front of her hair. Gray. It was perfect. She's got, just her salt and pepper all over, but it was mostly in this front part. And for her, she's like, oh my God, I hate the gray. It's so ugly. I want to just cover it. And she would beg me for months. And this was, mind you, this was all mostly during COVID, because during COVID, we were not allowed to go out. We couldn't go get our hair done. My roots were down to here. I looked a mess. And my mom felt the same. She was like, oh my God, all this silver hair. I don't want to deal with it. And I said, Mom, we talked about it, and I was begging her. I was like, please keep the silver. It's so good. Once we grew it all out, by the time we were out of there in 2021 or 2022, whatever it was, she had her full streak. And I had never seen so many people compliment her. I was like, see, I told you, listen to the crazy oldest daughter.
She grays right.
Yes, but hey, everybody goes gray in a special way. It's almost like being, it's almost like a snowflake. You have your own special pattern to it, and right off the bat, you're gonna see them here, you're gonna see them here or here, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, it looks terrible. But you let that grow out and you embrace it, and your silver will just complement you so pretty. I mean, of course, it's always a choice. If you love your dark hair, by all means, go with your dark hair, but never see gray as like a thing to hold you back or to be a flaw. If we all looked perfect, we'd all look the same and everybody would be so boring too. So, that's something.
But you had to embrace the mindset of just being able to love who you are the way you are.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing in the beauty industry. You've seen people in the beauty industry focus so much on perfection in magazines, with Photoshop and this perfect makeup and, the filters and things like that. And it's like, we need to embrace more of us. We are real people at the end of the day. These people that you're seeing on the magazines that you're altering them in a way that is not able to be recreated. Yes, in a natural way. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars looking like somebody that you want to look like when they don't even look like that themselves on, behind the camera.
Right. Now, what was your passion as far as, because I'm hearing your passion come out, right?
Yeah.
So what was your passion that drove you to like literally go to school, cosmetology school, get into makeup? I mean, was it like an art background?
So yes,
how did you get there?
So I do come from an artist background. My dad was a musician. He was a painter. He did stained glass. He drew. He did graphic design. So in my entire life, I was always surrounded by art. I was the musical kid. I was, on stage. I was performing a lot. I had a lot of fun. And it wasn't until I graduated high school, I was actually in college for a psychology degree initially. And I was in school. I was really overwhelmed. I ended up switching to nursing, and nursing school is extremely expensive. Yeah. So, went from one place to the other, completely different. But during my time in school, when I was going through those classes as a very desperate, very poor college student, I wanted to make some money. So I went on the internet and I was just scrolling one day, and one of my favorite hairstylists, she does these vivids, just these beautiful hair colors of rainbows and pinks, purples, blues. She's not from California, but she was coming to California to work with a hair care company to show off what she does. And that's, beautiful, magical hair. She had posted a posting saying, hey, I'm looking for a model with blonde hair. Send me pictures of your hair, all creative freedom. I sent her a message and she was like, can you be here at this date? And I said, yes. I showed up to shoot. And just being in that environment was so much fun. The makeup artist, she was so sweet, prepping me up, making sure that I felt confident and beautiful on screen, making sure she was checking up on me. And then once we actually got to the portion of recording, I'm just sitting there. I'm quiet, I'm smiling, I'm getting my hair done, and I'm listening to, this amazing woman. And if you guys want to look up her work, her name is Hair by KCO. But she was talking about her story and why she became a hairstylist. And the biggest thing for her was a form of expression of art, and to be able to put herself out there, but not only that, to make people feel beautiful. And for me, I really loved that, because at the end of the day, once we were all finished with the shoot and, we were finished when she was finished filming and doing her interviews and stuff like that, she was so inspiring to me, because, at the end of the day, I'll never forget it. It was purple on top and rainbows all underneath. So if I ever did a half up, half down hairdo, it would be rainbow underneath. And it was some of the most magical hair I've ever had. I felt so beautiful and I felt so confident. And hearing how passionate she was, I was like, this is something that I could do. This is something I'd like to do. And because she loved me so much, she was like, you know what? Your hair's perfect. You're so sweet. You're so kind. Come back. Anytime I'm in California, I'll use you for hair. And I built that relationship with her. And I actually modeled for a company called Pulp Riot. So when they were doing, you know, their campaigns for their new hair colors, their new hair dyes, they called me, and I was able to do my own makeup for a shoot, and they styled my hair, and we had so much fun. And for somebody like me who loves to be around people in general and spreading that positivity and making people feel good, but also to being able to use my creative, you know, my creative ideas as an outlet was just, I was like, I can't be an, you know, nursing just was not for me. I love to be able to help people, but I think this was my calling.
That's awesome.
When I told and when I told my parents, they weren't the happiest. They're like, what about your 401k? What about your retirement? What about, you know, this, that, and all of the other things? And it's like, I promise I'll make it work. I will figure it out. Don't you worry about me. I know that
God will make a way.
My dad was so stressed out. He was like, I wanted you to be in art, but I didn't want you to drop out of school for it. And I was like, it's okay. It's going to work out in the end. And that was me at 18. Now, you know, 10 years later, I'm here. I'm able to work with such amazing people. I still work with that same hairstylist. She's actually with a new company now called Danger Jones. So every once in a while, she's like, hey, you know what? I need an extra hairstylist, or hey, I need an assistant or a makeup artist. And I'm able to meet so many amazing people from all over the country, and they bring them to this salon, and we just collab together as artists. Like, their main vision and their purpose is to bring not only hairstylists together, but artists in general, whether it's makeup or hair or barbering or styling, things like that. They love to bring people together. And being inspired by that, I was like, I want to be able to do that for people. So
that's
now
phenomenal.
I'm able to travel around a little bit and have fun with that.
I love that. You just like walked through the opportunity of that door that was right there, and it just like opened up this whole world for you.
Yeah, I didn't realize what was behind the door until it was opened up to me, and I was like, I can't leave this anymore.
Yeah,
I can't. It was so much fun. And then on the bright side too, I don't have to deal with, you know, blood and all the scary things, because after doing a couple of those classes, I was sweating a little bit. I was like, I got a lot of money invested in this, and if I keep going, it's gonna get worse.
But you found your passion, though.
I found my passion, and I love it. I love being able to connect with people. I mean, hey, look we spent how long in that store just chatting it up, just having a good old time.
A good time.
We were having a full party in there, on the clock and everything. It was so much fun.
But on the clock and everything.
Girl, I was getting paid.
We took pictures. No.
We did.
We're up here taking pictures in the store.
So. Oh, I loved it. It was so much fun. My manager was looking at the cameras later, and she was like, "What's going on over here?" And I was like, "Oh,
you know what? That makes customers come back."
Yeah, and for me, I love talking to people. I could talk all day long to people about literally anything. Like, just give me a little bit of your time, and we can have a good time. You know, that's my big thing. That's why I've chosen what I've chosen, because I love socializing with people, and I love just seeing these smiles on everyone. So
you took the fear away of, because Ulta or any like makeup store, when you walk in there, you're just like, oh my God.
That can be very overwhelming, because
absolutely,
you have no idea where to begin.
Yeah, you have no idea where to start.
It's so foreign. And I grabbed you because I used to go to another Ulta where I used to live, and I found what would you call it? An agent? I don't know a person to help me. And you know what? I always went back to her for like 13 years.
Wow.
Until I moved and everything. And so I would always go in. If she did not work that day, I left.
See, and that's something that's so common. Yeah. You would be surprised with how common that is. You know, I love talking to people, and we all have our own little kind of like our own people. A lot of people love to come visit me, and if I'm not there, they'll do the same thing. Or I have, you know, amazing coworkers where I'm like, hey, you know, so-and-so is not here today. She'll be here tomorrow. I know you love to be with her. Come back during this day and she'll take care of you. You know, it's all about the human connection at the end of the day. Yeah. And if you're not able to give that full human connection, or if you just don't care, people are not going to be drawn to you, or they're not going to want to come back. And for me, at the end of the day too, it's kindness is free. It doesn't cost you anything. So just, you know, it doesn't cost you anything. And I always tell people this too. And when I'm at work, at the end of the day, it's just makeup. That's all it is.
Right.
I don't, you know, I'm not going to become a millionaire by, you know, picking and choosing what select people that I talk to or that I, you know, that I interact with, because that's not how the world works. You know, you have to be you have to be open in order to bring in the type of energy that you want. And if you're going to have this closed off energy, if that's not, you know, if you don't want to, if you don't want people, you know, if you don't want people in your circle, totally fine. If you have that closed off door, no big deal. But if you want people to enter your life with good intentions and with, you know, the positivity that you're looking for, you have to have your door open.
Yeah.
And then when the door is open, you have no clue how many opportunities are going to come your way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's it right there. That's it. So with that being said, with makeup, I know it starts with a foundation. Well, not a foundation, but a foundation of skincare.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
So
yes.
let's talk about that. And also men, you need a skincare regimen also.
Absolutely.
So let's go there. Let's go to that first foundation.
Yeah.
What
absolutely.
we need to do.
So let's start off with starting this off first and foremost. Skincare has no gender. Makeup has no gender. It does not matter if you want to be just in a light, you know, tinted moisturizer, or if you want to be full beat to the gods. If you want your full glam, by all means, that is all you. But it has no gender. It has no, you can't conform to one subsection of makeup because there's just so much there out in the world. They have so many beautiful trends and things like that. But to kind of bring it back into skincare, I actually had a client who came in. She did not do skincare at all. She said, all I do is just, I do a little bit of face wash, I dry my face, and I go straight to bed. And she, you know, when we were doing her makeup in store, she was complaining that, oh, my makeup looks so patchy, my makeup feels so cakey and dry. And I asked her, I was like, what skincare do we do? And she goes, I don't really care about skincare. It doesn't do anything for me. And the way that I explained it to her when it came to skincare, it's, you know, you're not going to sign up for a marathon and not train for it. You're not going to, you know, join the marathon and not do your stretches before, because if you're not doing your stretches before, you're going to go halfway through that marathon with the Charlie horse and you're going to, you know, fall flat because it's going to be painful. It's the same thing with skincare. You know, if you're not prepping your face for everything that you're going to apply onto it afterwards, it's not going to work out the way that it does. And when it comes to skincare, especially when it comes to, you know, mature or even dry skin, making sure that everything underneath the makeup is nice, fresh, and plump, ready to go. So your skin is not pulling out from your makeup. So then you can have better longevity. You can have, you know, you can have the longevity. You can get that more, you know, filtered or poreless look, all just by skin prep and then prepping your makeup for the correct things that you want to do it for. So I'm going to kind of go into my notes here now. So as we get older, so some of my notes and some of my research that I've done when I was in school was actually through Harvard Health. They actually have an amazing article on their website. I'll send you guys the link in case your followers would like to look at it too. But to quote them, in their research, as we get older, our skin undergoes several changes. Collagen and elastin, which are the two proteins that your skin needs in order to keep firm. They, you know, as we age, we don't have those same proteins as prominently as we do when we're young. You know, you see these beautiful young girls, you know, 12, 16, 20, all these ages with just these beautiful porcelain plump skin. Why? Because they have all of that. But as we age, you know, our skin cell cycles are not as quick as we were when we were younger. So we start to lose all of those proteins, and that's where we see our fine lines, our wrinkles, our dryness. Our skin can feel, you know, a little bit rough and dry. You can feel that texture and you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. The big thing about, you know, making sure that we're taking care of our skin is putting back the things that our body is not being able to give us the same way that we were when we were younger. So like one of the biggest things that I love to recommend my mature skinned women especially is two different ones. It's called hyaluronic acid, which hyaluronic acid is made to, you know, help promote with hydration. It helps hold on to it a little bit better. So when you're applying like your hyaluronic acid before your moisturizer, it's almost like a glue. So it holds on to the skin so much better and you're able to soak that into the skin better. Or even something like niacinamide. If you are somebody who has, you know, rough texture on the face and things like that, it helps with that too. It will even out your skin texture. You'll feel so much smoother. You'll feel so much better. So things like that are something so important that I feel like a lot of mature women need. But also too, just
now, are those things that you use separately, or are those ingredients that are in products?
So some of them
I know a lot of people talk about hyaluronic acid.
Yeah, hyaluronic acid is one of my favorites. I talked about it with you guys when we first met. I'll talk about it again. When it comes to skincare in general, it's all about just doing your own research and figuring out what has what. So there are certain products where it's just straight up hyaluronic acid and it has maybe a couple of other ingredients in it just to stabilize it, things like that. Or there's other products that have a mixture of things. So one of my favorite products that I told you guys about, it's the advanced night wear serum, excuse me. I love that advanced one because it's for nighttime. Even though it says it's for nighttime, you can use it for day. It's 7 serums in one. I am super lazy. I don't want to have to grab one vial, put it on my face, let it soak in, and wait for the next one. I'm a one and done type of girl. Give me the one item, let me put it on my face, slap it on, and call it a day. So it's really just
that's the one you gave me, right? That I bought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I got one thing right.
But hey, that's how you know it's starting to get into the brain there. Like you're starting to get that information, and that's how it all starts. It's just kind of figuring out what works best for you, what works best for you, and also too being able to listen to what your skin is telling you. So you know, for an example, I always tell my guests, I'm like, you know, if you don't know, if I always ask, are you dry? Are you oily? Are you combination? They're like, well, I don't really know. And the best way to do that is take a second. If you feel your forehead and if you look down at it and your finger's a little bit shiny, or if it feels wet on the skin, that can be a little bit of that oil secretion that you're feeling. So you could be oily here, for example. But if you press onto the sides of your cheek and if you feel that texture and you can hear almost like a noise where you can hear your skin, you know, being kind of like moved around, you can tell that it's dry. If you feel that tightness, it's dry. If you're seeing, you know, darkness under the eyes, or if you have redness, for example, you know, those are all different things that your skin's trying to tell you something. So for me, it's like, you know, take a step back, listen to what your skin is telling you. And it's like, hey, you know, for example, I'll give you my example. I'm combination skin and I'm extremely sensitive. I can't just go out and pick up whatever I want to and be like, okay, you know, this will work perfect, because I can break out really easily or I can get really inflamed. So for me, for example, I go online and I look at people's reviews. I look at the ingredients and things like that and see. And I'll have to double check on the name of the app, but there's actually a really amazing app that you can purchase online or you can download online, where it will tell you what all of these ingredients are and if they're good for your skin or if they're not good for your skin. And I love websites like that too, because I can scan a product and I can see, hey, these are all the ingredients that they have here. This is not so great for my skin, or this is amazing for my skin. So you're able to kind of filter in through that way. But to kind of bring it back to the main skincare part, you know, it's really important to listen to your skin, but not only that, to also give you a routine with it. You know, if you're spending $200, $300, $400 on skincare, but you're only using it once a month, you're wasting your money. You know, and the best part is that I'm saying $200, $300, $400, but you don't even have to spend that. There are so many great products, whether you're shopping in the high end section or if you're, you know, in the drugstore section. There are so many great products out there that work for everybody. If there was only one good product in the world, there would only be that one product everywhere. But because there's so many amazing items to choose from, you can go on your own little skincare journey with that too and see what works out for you. Where it's like, hey, you know what? I loved this serum because it made me feel good here, but I wasn't a fan of how it made my, my forehead feel, or, oh, it burned me. I felt like a tingling.
Oh,
that I'm not a
right.
fan of. Things like that. So you can kind of just dabble around and figure out, what works best for me.
Now, do you find that it's best to do your skincare? So you would do your washing your face, okay, with your cleanser. Then you would do your toner, which that was the one I would leave out a lot. But I noticed when I leave the toner out, that's when I start getting greasy.
Yes. Okay. So
yeah.
So to explain kind of what a toner does and to kind of backtrack. So we'll start with facial cleansing, just a facial cleanser. When it comes to daytime, you're asleep, you were asleep. You were sleeping all night. You were in your skincare. You're rolling around. I always recommend people do a light facial, just a light wash. Just so if there's any oils or any dust, anything like that that was in your bed that you were sleeping with, you're rinsing it off. You're getting it off. Think of your skin almost like the front of a car. When you're driving through, you're getting all that dirt, your debris, your bugs. You're not going to put your makeup on top of all of that because then it's going to look all crazy and gross. You're not going to drive around your nice car with a whole bunch of dirty bugs and dirt and, trees all over it. You want to wash her up. You want to give her at least a quick rinse. So make sure that you're, gently washing your face, doing something great like that. And then to go into toners, the main thing about toners is to soften the skin. So some toners actually help lightly exfoliate the skin, so it gets rid of that top layer, because the top layer of the skin, it's the most dead. It's the oldest part of your skin. So what you're feeling on top, that is the oldest. It's going to shed off. It's going to be doing all that. So you want to make sure that you're getting off all that dead skin, because if you're applying your makeup on top of that dead skin, it's going to grab onto that moisture. So using toners, it's going to exfoliate the skin. Some toners will even shrink the pores. So what they'll do is they'll clean out that pore, and because that pore is clean, it'll start to shrink. So then you're not dealing with all that dirt, or you're not dealing with those blackheads, for example. So, and then also with toners, depending on how sensitive your skin is, for me, I'm very sensitive skinned. I only use a toner maybe 2-3 times a week max. My skin does not need it. And it's the same thing for everybody else. If you have a little bit more tough skin and you want to, use toner pads to lightly exfoliate every day, you're able to do so if your skin can handle it. But if you are more sensitive and you want to be a little bit on more routine, use it every so often to just kind of give you a fresh face. I always tell people, one of my favorite products that I love to recommend people are technically it's 2 now. One of them are the Anua toner pads. Any of the specific ones, there's one that's the blue and green ones. Green one is by Anua. It is called an azelaic toner pad. And what azelaic is, it is meant to send signals to the brain or to the skin being like, hey, it's okay. You're able to calm down. We don't need the irritation. We don't need the inflammation. Because as you can see on my skin, for example, I didn't want to put any foundation on today so you guys can see natural skin. I have redness here and a little bit here on my forehead. Before I started using it, I was redder than a tomato. I was just bright red constantly. And I had no idea why. I was like, what's going on with my skin? It doesn't feel dry. It doesn't feel oily. It doesn't sting or anything like that. And a good friend of mine told me about azelaic, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, what the heck is this? What am I supposed to do with it? And that's when they explained to me, hey, it's actually meant to help with inflammation of the skin. When you have that redness in the skin, it's because your skin is irritated or it's dealing with something. So if you have that redness, I love to just kind of do that, one, because it exfoliates me personally, and 2, it helps calm down my skin. So I love to do things like that. Or the other one, or 2 other ones, there's a brand called Medicube. It is a Korean skincare brand. It's made for sensitive skin, and it has different ones for different ideas. One is for, one's just to exfoliate and to make the skin nice and plump. Other ones are made for, skin that's a little bit more dry, but that needs to shrink the pores. There's other ones that are like, hey, I'm oily. I secrete a lot of oil. I need something to just pull that all out. So that is an amazing one. Or even just for skin prep in general, for like makeup. I'll use it right before I lightly exfoliate. So I have a nice blank canvas per se. It's nice and smooth. So the rest of the makeup that I apply on, or the rest of the skincare that I apply on, can actually get into the skin. Because that's another thing about these toner pads or just toners in general. They're meant to lightly exfoliate the skin, get rid of that old layer on top so the newer one can show. So when you're applying all that skincare, that new layer is actually absorbing it and it's getting into the skin rather than it just sitting on top, because it has that layer of the dead skin on top.
Okay.
So that's what I love about toners. And then your next step after, so we have your facial wash, you have your toners. Your next step would probably be your serums. If you're a serum girl like me, this is when you can go in with your, if you like salicylic acid, for example, that's a great one for, you know, texture and oiliness. Or you have your hyaluronic acid for those dry girlies who need some extra plumping, niacinamide for texture. There are so many different ones that I can just name that will do so many different things. So you can put all those serums on. I always like to recommend people to put that hyaluronic acid so that when you put your moisturizers and your creams on, your skin is absorbing that rather than the makeup, because we're putting liquid makeup on, cream makeups on for the most of the time. So when you put that liquid makeup on the skin with nothing on, no moisturizer, no nothing, anything else, your skin is like, hey, this is my moisturizer. I need to soak it in. So instead of you getting your skincare in, it's soaking up that makeup, which is causing you to clog your pores up. So if you're not doing all that skin prep and then you're washing your face, there's still stuff in your pores.
This makes so much sense. Now you're so like,
it makes it so much easier because you're like, why? Because if you're not doing all your skincare before and then you're throwing your makeup on and you're trying to wipe, you know, you're trying to wash your face off at the end of the night and you're drying your face and you're like, why do I still have makeup all over my face on my nice clean towel? It's sucked into your skin. It's literally settled into every fine line, every little wrinkle, every little pore. It gets in there. So making sure that you have that clean canvas, but also too hydrating properly. So your skin's almost like, I have like that nice drink of water. I don't need this extra stuff. I'm just going to hold on to what I have here.
So your skin is more like a sponge.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And I wish I had kept, you can barely see it on my arm. I don't really think that you can see it. Darn, yeah, you can't. So during work, they have us swatch foundations on our arm. Just swatch to leave it on there and it dries completely. In order for me to get this off, I had to cleanse twice. And if just doing it with soap and water didn't work, imagine you putting on this full face of makeup. Wow. It's 11 o'clock at night and you're like, oh, let me just throw this on really lazily. You put your soap and water on and then you dry your towel and you're like, why do I still have all my makeup on? It's because we're not cleansing properly. We're not prepping our skin properly, so it doesn't need all of that extra stuff. So making sure that we're like exfoliated, making sure that we're prepping our skin so it's nice and plump. You want your skin to almost feel like bouncy. When you're feeling your skin, you want it to feel bouncy. You want it to bounce back. You want it to feel good. If you feel that roughness, that dryness, or even if your face feels tight, that's your body's way of telling you, or your skin's way of telling you, I am dehydrated. I need more hydration. I need more moisturization in order for me to feel better. Because nobody likes feeling that tightness and nobody likes feeling that super greasiness on their forehead. So making sure that we prep is so important. So kind of backtracking again from toners, once you finish your toners, once you put your serum on, I always tell people too, it's such a pain in the butt. I know I'm a very impatient girl myself and I hate waiting, but make sure that you're letting each of your products get soaked into the skin so then your skin can truly feel it. Because if you're putting your toner on and you're not letting it dry and then you're putting your hyaluronic acid on top, that toner is attacking almost that newer product that you're putting on. Because the whole point of your toner pad is to exfoliate, get off all that dead skin, things like that. And then if you're going to put your hyaluronic acids or any, serums in general, those are going to mix and your skin's going to be soaking them up at the same time. We don't really want our skin fully soaking up the full exfoliation part with a serum on top. You want to give each product their own time to shine with your skin. So being a little bit patient, whether it's 30 to 60 seconds, just when you feel your face, you feel like, hey, it doesn't feel like I have wet all over my skin. It doesn't feel like I have water. Then you can move on to your next step. So once
Okay.
I finish with my serums, once I feel my face is nice and plump, it feels almost a little bit sticky because sometimes with those serums, they can feel a little bit sticky. And I like that feeling specifically for myself because that way I feel like when I put my moisturizer on, it's actually being laid into the skin and it's being held on there rather
Oh,
than
that's
just
so it's a
sitting on
good
top.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. I was gonna ask you that question.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of sticky. Is that a good thing? You know?
Yeah, that's a good thing. A lot of people don't like to feel that texture on their skin. When I initially started my full routine, I was like, "Oh, this is so gross. Why do I feel this way?" I was told you want that stickiness because it's going to be almost like the glue to the rest of your skincare. With those serums that you're applying, that's going to help with the rest of your, with your skincare to apply. So, the next big thing is your moisturizers, your eye creams. Eye creams I think are so important because with the skin underneath the eye and the eyelid itself are the most sensitive parts of the skin on your entire body. It is the thinnest and it is the most delicate. So making sure that you pay really great attention to that is so important. We are so rough with our eyes, whether we realize it or not, whether we're pulling our eyelids up to put our contacts in or we're stretching our skin out to get that really pretty eyeliner. We're really rough with the skin around our eyes. So making sure that we're actually taking care of it is so important. I don't know about you guys, but for me, we have in my genetics, we get really wrinkly around our eyes. We got crow's feet. We get the little, the creases under our eyes and things like that. And if I'm being rough with my eyes and I'm not doing anything to put that back in to treat it, you're just stretching that skin out and the skin is like, please help me. And you're not
Right,
doing
right.
anything. It's not going to want to work with you. You're going to get those deeper lines. You're going to get that dryness feeling underneath them if you're not treating your skin well.
Now,
So,
what's the best way to apply the eye cream? Because sometimes they say pat, 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 don't
mhm.
rub, or and that. And are you supposed to put it on the top of the eyelid?
So it's
Because
really
you know you guys are
depend.
dry in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for example, me,
Good
I don't
questions.
have very super dry eyelids. So I don't like to apply on my eyelids, especially too. I'm an eye rubber. So if I'm rubbing my eyes, I'm gonna get that cream in my eyes, and that's not a fun feeling for me personally. So I keep it away from my eyes. For an example, my partner, he just gets really dry eyelids. We have no idea what it is, whether it's just sensitivity to seasons changing
Yeah.
or if it's just allergies, things like that. He gets really dry here. So for him, he likes to apply a little bit of eye cream there, really delicately, really carefully, because you don't want to obviously get it in your eyes. But for me personally, I always love to tell my people you can apply underneath the eyes, and I also love to do on the sides of the crow's feet and even kind of going up into this like brow bone area a little bit too, because
Okay.
that's kind of the skin that's the most delicate, and I like to hydrate that, especially for the under eyes and crow's feet. That's a lot of people's biggest insecurities. It's like, oh my god, my under eyes are so dark, or I'm so wrinkly here, and things like that. So picking a good eye cream I think is so important. And to apply it, me personally, there was an amazing YouTuber back in the day named Michelle Phan, and I still use this technique to this day. If you feel all of your fingers, your ring finger has the least amount of like power compared to the rest of them. So what we love to do, or what she recommended, is to apply with the ring finger and lightly tap into the skin because it's going to be the most delicate finger. You're not going to be pressing too hard into the skin and not aggravating that area. You're just lightly patting it in. And because it's so light on the skin, you're able to get it in there, press it into the skin so your skin's able to absorb it, but you're not adding too much friction. So for
Okay.
me, I love to do just a little tap. I'll look up in the mirror and I'll just lightly tap underneath, tap on the sides, and then just grab and drag, just doing little massages, just so then everything kind of like gives you a little bit of like blood flow circulation, massaging that area really lightly so you can get blood flow. So when that blood flow gets that hydration, all those little skin cells get that moisturizer, it's soaking it in. And with that blood flow going, and all of that, it's circulating a lot better. You're adding a little bit more to your skin that way. So I love to do a little massage, always with the ring finger. And then when it comes to moisturizer, I just like to throw it on top. I like to use my fingers, just circular motions. I like to do a little bit of a massage. there is I believe it's a Chinese medicine technique called gua shying. What gua shying is meant to do specifically is to help drain the lymph nodes in our face. We carry a lot of unnecessary fluids in our face sometimes, where that's why sometimes when you're waking up in the morning, sometimes you're like, wow, you looking so slim today, girl. And other times you're like, oh my goodness, why am I so bloated? Sometimes it's just all that water that we're retaining in the face. So when I apply my moisturizer on, I'll go on TikTok, I'll go on YouTube and look up massage videos and just massage my face out. So then one, I'm adding blood circulation to the face, so I'm able to, get all of that ready to go for my skincare that way too. Two, I'm draining those lymph nodes. I'm getting all that excess water out of my face. So then I feel a lot better that way. And then three, it's fun. It's a nice, fun way of taking care of your skin. I think it's such a great way of taking care of your skin, because you're doing all the great benefits, but also too you're taking time to take care of yourself. And that's a big thing too. So many of us spend so much time focusing on everything else out in the world, and we're not focusing on ourselves. Take that extra 30 minutes just to take care of yourself in the mirror. Make yourself feel good. Take the time to just give yourself a little pick-me-up, whether it's at the morning or in the night. Something like that is great. And to kind of jump. Oh,
now, if you use like natural
that.
oils, like rose hip or marula oil or something like, is that where that would come in?
Yeah, and it's really dependent on the person's preferences. I personally like to use some like a rose oil per se, because I like the smell of it. And you want to always make sure if you are doing these types of massages and things like that, that your face is nice and nice and lubricated. That we're not just doing it on dry skin, because it's gonna hurt on dry skin. But if you're adding like a nice facial oil on top, or even sometimes if I'm a little lazy, I'll do a really almost like watery, hydrating moisturizer, and I'll just kind of quickly do it that way, which I wouldn't recommend. Always do it with an oil, but for those times I'm a little lazy, I'm like, let me just do that. You just want to make sure that your skin is nice and slick. So you're kind of adding that in there too, just to kind of prep your skin for that makeup. But along with it too, just making sure that we're checking, kind of backtracking, that we're checking the ingredients inside of our skincare products. What are we looking for? So for example, for me, I get really dark under eyes. It just runs in my family. If we don't get a full night's rest, sometimes it looks like I got punched in the face. I'd be looking a little crazy with how dark and purple I can get. So for me, I was like, I need to pick something that if I'm not going to sleep my full 8 hours, I need something with maybe a vitamin C in it to help brighten me up throughout the time that I'm using it. So I love to use something that's deeply hydrating, but also too has that vitamin C in it, so I can lighten and brighten while I'm using it at the same time too. So kind of using that to your advantage and being like, hey, I don't like this problem that I have in my face. Let me look at an ingredient that would help and benefit my skin to make it so where I don't have to deal with this problem anymore. And it's like, hey, this product has this ingredient in it. Let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. So just kind of focusing on those ingredients too, because there's so many great options out there. For another example, for like a face cream, for example, one of my all-time favorite brands is Tatcha. Tatcha is an amazing skincare brand. It is a Japanese based company, so they use all Japanese skincare, and they're using really great natural ingredients. They like to use a lot of rice in their skincare, and they like to use a lot of, or from another example, there's another Estee Lauder likes to use I believe it's sweet green kelp or red algae. These are all different types of skincare ingredients that help out with different things. And just kind of looking at me like, why do I need sweet green kelp in my skincare? What the heck is that going to do for me? And for me, I was like, that's exactly what I thought. I Googled it and I was like, hey, it actually helps with irritation. It helps with sensitive skin. It helps with hydration, because that's what they're in the water. They're there filtering out and making sure that they're taking care of themselves. So when you have all this, these great ingredients in the skin and you're combating your issues with it, it makes it so much easier to figure out like, hey, my skin's finally looking good, or hey, I'm feeling plump, or I'm not looking as red. It's really
feeling plump.
Yeah, that's the big thing. My biggest thing is if your skin does not feel plump and bouncy, change the skincare routine. Figure out what it is that we're not liking from that skincare and replace it with something else.
I know my daughter uses a lot of Korean products because she says they have a lot of natural products in there like that help her skin.
Yes, Korean skincare is, I'm so glad that it's like such a big thing now because I mean, if we look, if we look at just the science that they have behind a lot of their skincare, it shows like, hey, we're not here to play around. We are here to make sure that, you're looking 40 by the time you turn 80. Like their whole thing is to preserve the skin barrier. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize too. It's, you can put all this skincare on, but if you're not protecting your skin at the end of the day, what's the whole point? Or if you're just using it haphazardly or not using it every day, you're not building yourself a routine, it's not going to work. If you're using a product one time a week, you're not going to see the difference. But if you're consistent with it and have a routine, you'll start to see the changes. So that's, I think, a big thing when it comes to Korean skincare is that, hey, we have this whole line. We did all the research for you. Here are our products, please use them. And they love to use, more natural ingredients. They like to use stuff that's more beneficial for the skin. They like to put multiple things in one bottle. So then you're not having to run around and having to pick 6 different serums just to do one thing for you.
Oh, okay.
That's good. That's good.
But yeah,
like that.
But yeah, Korean skincare is the biggest thing right now. If you don't know, if you're like, I don't know any skincare brands, what am I supposed to use? Look up amazing brands such as Peach and Lily, Anua, Medicube. They have so many. And even though it's not Korean, I love Shiseido. Shiseido is a Japanese skincare brand that specializes in sun care and protecting your barrier. And that's another big thing too. It's even if you're not outside all the time, it's a really great idea to make sure that you're always wearing your sun care, your SPF. Because if you're not,
that's what I always do.
yeah, even when I'm inside right now, I'll just put a moisturizer with some SPF on and that'll be my thing for the day. Just something to protect the skin. Because again, if you're using all this if you're using all this skincare, but then you're going outside and you're not putting any sun care on, that's your biggest enemy right there is the sun for the skin. If you're not taking care of your skin and you're not protecting it, that sun beating down on that barrier, it's going to wither down at the end of the day. That's how you see your sunspots. That's why you see a lot more texture and that dryness is because that sun is beating down and your skin's trying to combat that. And it's like, hey girl, help me out. Protect me a little bit.
Trying to burn me up.
Literally. Exactly. So making sure that you're taking care of everything at the end of the day and then putting that end barrier at the end is perfect. So now that we're all kind of finished with like skincare, you've picked your products, you've washed your face, you've put your toners, you've done your serums, your eye creams, your moisturizer, SPF. You're like, okay, what the heck do I do now? Like, okay, I have all this stuff, but how do I apply the makeup to make myself look good?
There it is. That's the scary part. That's where
Absolutely. And that's the big thing because so to kind of reel you guys both into it, what are some of the big problems that you guys have with your own makeup applications that you hate?
It doesn't stay on.
So longevity.
On and like, okay, so it looks good because we don't wear a lot of makeup. So what little we put on and then it's gone on. For me, I don't want to spray that stuff.
The setting spray.
Yeah, because then it makes the makeup bubbly up, kind of. It's like
Which one are we? So that's a big thing too, is making sure that our products mix. So kind of to play with that too. A lot of makeup products in general are kind of in 2 spaces. It's either they're water-based products or they're going to be silicone-based products. So if we're applying a water base here, but a silicone base here, it's like putting oil and water together. If you're going to put them together, it's going to mix. It's not going to last you a long time. So making sure that you're looking at ingredients too and making sure that everything aligns is going to make everything so much better. And this was a problem that I initially had because I had no idea. One of my favorite foundations, I loved using it. It felt so good. One day I changed one tiny thing out of my routine, and that was a primer. I had been given a really nice one for my birthday, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited to use this. I love this foundation. I mixed the 2 together. I looked a hot mess. I walked out the door. I had my pores out. It was crumbly here. You could see every little dry spot I had. I was like, oh my God. I literally walked inside. I was like, I gotta wash all this off. There's no way. And I didn't have any idea until I started complaining about it to a makeup artist that I knew. I was like, I don't know what's going on. You know, my makeup application used to be so great. And then all of a sudden it looked crazy. Why? And she was like, well, what are you using? And that's when we figured out, or that's when I figured out, it's a silicone versus a water thing. So making sure that you stay in that same like subsection is what's going to be the most important. So if you're choosing, like I said, that water-based primer, and then you're putting that silicone-based foundation, it's just not going to mix. It's going to separate. It's going to look all nasty and crazy on the face. So making sure that you apply the correct things in the correct locations is super important too.
I don't use the primer. Is that like a thing you should use?
I love to recommend primers to people because just kind of like going back, it's like your serum. Your primer is like your serum. It's the glue to the rest of how your makeup is going to lay. Our skin isn't perfect. We're going to have those fine lines. We're going to have those wrinkles. We're going to have those really deep pores. Whether you're my age, whether you're your age, whether you're something in between, over, under, it's really important to prep and to give your makeup the best opportunity that it can have by giving it the canvas that it needs. If you're giving your, you know, for a perfect example, if you're driving down the road and you have all those bumps and those divots, you're going to feel every single one. But if it's nice and clear, you're not going to feel any of that. But if you were to lay a blanket over both of them, that blanket's going to sink into all those little bumps and textures, and it's not going to lay properly the way that you want it to, versus if you lay that same blanket on just a clean slate road with no bumps or anything like that, just fresh out of the concrete truck, you're gonna have that nice smooth base. So when you're applying that primer on after applying, you know, your skincare, one, it's going to create a barrier between your skincare and your makeup. So your makeup or your skin is not grabbing onto that makeup like I was saying earlier. But also it's going to give you a nice smooth canvas. So when you apply that makeup, it applies a lot smoother. And to kind of give some examples of some great primers to work with certain foundations, if you are, for example, I'm combo skinned. I like something, my personal preference is I like something soft matte. Why? Because with soft matte foundations, they usually leave your skin alone in the places that you're dry. It doesn't feel overly dry and almost tense. But the places that I'm oily, because it has those soft matte properties, it's going to absorb oil throughout the day. So I'm not going to get that shiny greasiness as soon as I would without using that primer. So that primer and that foundation kind of work together in a sense to give you the opportunity to absorb oil or to leave the skin alone. So for people who are oily or I should say combo skinned, some of my favorite primers to use for that, when you're oily, if you're a grease ball like I am in my forehead and my nose, I know that I don't want to be shiny. So when you're looking for products, you want to look for products that say mattifying. You want to see products that say blurring, because it will blur those pores out really, really well, but it'll also absorb oil throughout the day with that mattifying. It'll dry down on the skin and make sure that you don't get that oil. Some of my favorites for both, and also too, usually when it comes to something being stated as mattifying, it's usually a silicone-based product. So if you usually hear that, if it says full on like mattifying primer or mattifying foundation, it's usually a silicone-based.
Okay.
So some really great options for that I love to recommend people are the Benefit, the Poreless Primer, the new one that they came out with. It is mattifying, it's blurring, it will fill in those pores and give you that nice blank canvas. Or you can use, if you need something a little bit thicker, a little bit more for oily skin, for example, you can use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, which is also a silicone-based primer. And then to jump over to foundations, because we're using that primer that is silicone-based, we want to make sure that we're using a silicone-based foundation. So some of my personal favorites are, if you want something like medium full coverage, if you want to make sure that every single piece of your skin is completely covered, I love the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, one of my all-time favorite foundations. Or even too, if you're like, I'm not trying to spend $52 on, you know, on a facial product or on foundation, Maybelline, L'Oreal, they have some phenomenal foundations that will work just as well as anything on the high end spectrum as well. NYX is a phenomenal brand to even look at too.
Oh, NYX.
NYX is great because they have everything from water-based to silicone-based primers. And two of my favorites from them, it's a black bottle from NYX. I think it's called the NYX Shine Killer. It's a mattifying primer, and it's like $12. If you can't spend, $30, $40, $50 on something, and you're like, I'm just dabbling into makeup. I'm just trying to pick the cheapest options to get the job done. Yeah, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm balling on a budget. Sometimes I want to look good, but I don't want to be spending thousands of dollars.
Hold on, ladies. I gotta roll.
Calling you. Somebody's calling her. Oh man! So I bought the Estee Lauder.
Yes,
of course. Which I was blown because I'm like, man, these people still exist. Because my mom used to do Estee Lauder.
And see, that's so funny to me because everyone has this stigma against Estee Lauder. They're like, it's an old people brand. Like Clinique, they're like, it's an old people brand.
Really?
What young people use Clinique, or what young people use not L'Oreal, Estee Lauder. And I'm like, I'm not old, but I love it.
Yeah, I was excited that product still line still existed.
It's been a product that has taken over the beauty industry for years, and so many people love it. For me, it's like, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah. I've liked it because I got the little like trial set.
Yeah, I remember the little gift set.
Yeah, a little gift set, because I like to do that, because then that's like she was saying, your face might be allergic to something. You don't know how it's going to react.
Yeah, you can have a sensitivity. That way, if you hate it, you throw it away. You never have to use it again. But if you love it, you
try everything at once.
That, now.
Yep. Who was calling you?
My son. He was supposed to be mailing something at the post office, and he said there's no label on it.
Oh.
And I'm like, because he called 3 times in a row. So I'm like, let me make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problems. Make sure your baby's okay. That's important. That's more important.
But I'm like one of those like weirdo people that just can pretty much put anything. I don't put a whole lot into my face.
Yeah,
and honestly,
I moisturize it, put some
and
light
that's
makeup on.
With your skin, or just how you feel in general, makeup is not a one size. There's no one true way of doing makeup. I love doing a full face. I will put my crazy colorful eyeshadow on, my lips, I'll have the big lashes, the whole 9 yards. And there's somebody out there who's like, that's not my vibe. I just want to do my eyebrows, throw some skin tint on, and call it a day.
That's the word, enhance.
I just want to be natural and enhanced, which is why I was looking for, the Naked Heat palette.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I like all the neutral colors.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing too. And I actually wanted to bring that in because I feel like a lot of people miss out on the point of, hey, it's not just about prepping skincare and picking all the right makeup products, but what makes you feel good? What colors do you like on you? Because, for me personally, I'm not a natural glam girly. It's just not my preference. I love doing these big, bold eyeshadow looks. I love doing the big, crazy blush contours and things like that. I will have one of the things that people like to say now, it's a blank blindness. If you have a blindness to something that people are like, whoa, that's a little crazy, that's a little much. For me, I have a blush blindness. I love packing on the blush. If I could, I'd put it all over my face. But some people, they're like, let me just dab it on, just something to elevate my skin and call it a day. It's at the end of the day, makeup is art.
Exactly.
It's a self-expression of yourself, because I can tell with you, Steph, you love bold lips. You want people to focus. You have these big, beautiful, luscious lips, and you want people to say, hey, I'm speaking to you. Focus here. This is my main focal area. For me, I got these big eyes. I love to talk to people. I love eye contact. So for me, I love to do a big, bold, brow and eyelashes and, something fun like that, and that's my expression. There's so many different types of expression out there that so many people have. So there's no one size to it. But just
And the
making
crazy thing is, you know, I used to always try and hide my lips.
Really?
which is such a bummer. You're beautiful.
Because I'm like, I don't like my lips, they're bigger. So it was just, you know, over the last 10 years, I think that I'm like, yeah, people pay money for this. So
Yes, good
See?
money.
Yeah.
but I've always had, because of my vision loss, I mean, that is the whole crux of my vision loss. I have microthalamus, which is a small eye. So I have one eye that's not developed at all, the other eye that's very minimal developed. So it's like doing my eyes has always been a thing. So I always just try to, you know, just keep it simple and just highlight a little bit. But
Yeah, and
finding that little center ground of where you're comfortable and, you know, what you want to do.
yeah, because at the end of the day, like I was saying, it's freedom of expression. It's a way to express yourself. You are so gorgeous with your red lipstick. You know, it brings out your smile. It brings attention to,
She's like,
to that. She's like, yes, I know. Keep going.
It's like, I would love to have big, bold eyes, but it's like, that's not the thing. It ain't happening. So
Yeah, and
what can you do with it? So
yeah, you have to, we're not gonna all love everything about how we look or how we feel or things like that.
I
It's
love
what do I love?
Monique.
What do I
is
love
like,
to take care about myself and exactly. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I have always loved your eyes. I'm like, she's got such
See
beautiful
how you hear
eyes.
stuff after the fact? All these years, somebody said, you have nice eyes. I never knew that.
Well, yeah, you do.
Thank you, darling.
I've always loved them.
And see, that's the big thing about you too, is that we can see you got a lash on today. Obviously, the main focus of your area are your eyes. I'm gonna assume you love eye contact, or you love people, you love to express yourself here. You have great glasses. Your glasses are a piece of it too. That's almost like the makeup for you too. It's in the
It is actually
that you add.
Yeah.
Because
and my mascara matters for me.
Yes, absolutely does. You want to make sure that
I don't wear the fake
eyelashes
eyelashes
all over.
because I rub my eyes a lot, but
Yeah,
the
that's the
mascara
same thing with me. I don't wear the fake lashes.
Yeah.
And again,
But
somebody comes to just try them, but it's like, I don't wear the
probably rub them off.
eyelashes because it's like, what good is it going to do if you have these big eyelashes, but you have really tiny eyes?
But hey, and that's the big thing
I think it
too.
would look weird, but
so that's another thing too about makeup. If you're not happy with the way that something looks, you can alter it in a certain way without having to permanently change it. You don't need surgery in order to have a certain look to your eyes. So for me, for example, I have these big eyes. They're very expressive. They're very big. Sometimes I want to be a little bit more sultry, a little bit more mysterious. So what do? I will look up different techniques and different ideas on how to almost angle my eyes in a certain way. So for me, I have very big round eyes. And if I want that almost like Megan Fox, foxy eye look, I'm going to say, hey, what do I need to alter to kind of get that to that space? So for me, for example, since I have big eyes, my main focus is almost closing them in a sense. So for me, I love to do like a big liner wing. I'll bring it out, but then also too, I'll add black eyeliner into the waterline or into the tight line. So it creates a border. So my eyes, the whites of my eyes stand out, but it's not as big and they look a little bit smaller. Or for the days I'm like, hey, I want people to stare at my eyes. I need these big eyes to do its thing. It's focusing on where the shadows and the light hits on the face. So when it comes
you're talking art stuff.
Yes,
I do art, and that's exactly how I put my makeup on. And I'll use the white or the what is it, like the light beige.
Yes,
as the highlight color.
That's exactly
like
how
Steph said, enhancing.
Yes, exactly. It's all about enhancing. So for an example, when I want my eyes to look bigger in the center, you want the focal point to be your eyes. You're going to add that lightness and that brightness. So for an example for you, Steph, you're like, I got these small eyes. I don't know what to do with them, but that's not technically true. You have your beautiful eyes and you have this lid space and you can use that to your advantage. If you want to make your eyes bigger, what I always love to tell people to do, and I wish I had brought my makeup brushes so I could have shown you guys, But each of us, if we open our eyes and we look in the mirror, we all have almost like a fold in the eye, which is a crease. If you want your eyes to be bigger, bring your eyeshadow above that crease and bring it lightness towards the center. So it will not only elongate the eye this way, but it'll open up the eye. Or even too, some people love to do something called a halo eye, where they put the darkest eyeshadow in the center and on the outside and just a nice ray beam in the middle, just nice and highlighted so it pops out that way. It's really just kind of looking at the shape of your eye and being like, hey, what can I do to enhance this? And a big thing that I love to tell my students when I do classes and things like that is I will show you the example on myself, or I'll show it on a model, and you need to identify those places on your face to make it look a certain way. So for people who have, the big round eyes, if they want to make their eyes smaller, you have to kind of look at the eyes and be like, where can I contour or add shadow in order to add depth or make it smaller? Or it's, hey, I want this piece to be a focal point. I want to bring brightness. I want it to bring it forward. You're going to bring light to that location. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
and
perfect.
There's one thing I noticed for me, is like when you have the lazy nights where you're like, I'm so tired, I don't even want to take my makeup off. And you're like, okay, let me just take a little nap. You're going to bed, but you're taking a nap
all night.
You wake up in the morning and your eyes,
You've got ragged eyes down here. You've got your one eyelash in your hair.
Yeah.
Your eyebrows look all crazy.
It's puffy, like your eyes are puffy, and I'm like, oh, see,
you're like, oh god, I look like a monster today.
I didn't wash my eye, clean all that out, because now it makes sense, because like you're putting mascara and all that, and it's probably getting into those pore lines inside the eye, and I'm sleeping on that. And
yes, and not only that,
interesting.
Your skin needs to breathe at the end of the night too. When you're not taking your makeup off, science has pretty much explained that every time that you go to bed with your makeup on, you're adding 6 days of age to your skin.
Oh, heck no.
So think about it. If you're doing it 30 days in a row, that's a lot.
I wash my face every night.
But I do notice that if, like, let's say it's like one of those like it did that, and my eyes are puffy, I end up having to use more makeup to bring my eye back to the normal,
to how you want it to feel. And to kind of go off of that issue that you're having with the puffiness, it goes back to skincare. It goes straight back to your skincare. Caffeine is so great to help with the puffiness of the eyes. If you grab an eye
cream on your eyes, you just dab some coffee.
Like, I don't think you want to burn your skin with some coffee. But oh man, imagine just having some coffee pads underneath your eyes.
That's what I'm saying. You just like get some little pads and just put the coffee. Okay. Oh,
I know people never tried that. People do the tea bags.
Oh, tea bag. You're actually not wrong, Stephanie. Using specifically green tea, because green tea has a lot of caffeine in it. If you apply green tea bags, you can steep them in, warm them up, get them steeped. You can drink that tea, use those pads, use those little ones. You can put them underneath the eye. That's a great way of doing caffeine. Or you can find it in your eye creams itself. There's a brand called the Inky List. They have a really great eye cream that's made specifically for puffy under eyes. My husband uses it. He has a lot in his genetics. They all have extremely puffy eyes. So he's like, I'm trying to avoid that, because if he wakes up and he doesn't have, if he's not doing his skin prep, his skincare, or if he doesn't sleep a lot, he'll get that puffiness too. So to combat that, we use caffeine. And that's such a great way, Stephanie. Just because, there are skincare products, you can do a little, you can do almost like a little natural remedy of itself that way too. I mean, hey, it's there for a reason. You might as well use it. Like, for example, the cucumbers.
I mean, I try to find natural remedies for as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's so much more cost effective.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like a little, it's a little spa time for you too. If they're using cucumbers over the eyes and the spa while you're getting your massage or your facial, why can't I do that?
Why not at home?
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing too, because you brought up natural remedies like that too, a lot of licensed estheticians love to use fruit enzymes in their skincare routine or in their facials. So enzyme like one that people really love to use specifically is watermelon extract. Why? Because watermelon is so nourishing and hydrating for the skin. We love watermelon because what is watermelon? It's pretty much all water. It's all water. So, when you're using things like that, for them, for example, when we are able to create like a watermelon enzyme, you're able to apply it on the skin and your skin has that hydration, has that moisture. When you're using cucumber, it's helping with any irritation of the skin and things like that. Why do we use aloe when we get burnt? It helps with hydrating and cooling down the skin. It's going to send, signals to your skin's receptors and being like, hey, I have this cool item on me that's hydrating me. Let's soak it in and use all those nutrients. Your skin, like you said earlier, Monique, your skin is a sponge. What you put on your face matters. If you're sleeping in your makeup, all those chemicals, all
it's
those,
only once in a blue moon.
We got to make sure we keep it as clean, girl.
That blue moon can't come up.
I just
leave the blue moon.
And
saying, it's like, because some of those nights, like, okay, so I have the allergies like your husband. And another thing too, why I put mascara on, I put it on every day lightly, just because I have a habit of like rubbing my eyes.
Yep, I'm guilty.
Because, and so one of the things that I started doing a couple of years ago, because my eyes were getting dry, California, we have seasons of fires and all that crap.
Yeah,
and so I bought a
cold summer.
Yeah. And so I bought a humidifier. Oh, that helped 100%. I have a humidifier in both rooms that runs 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a huge difference in my skin.
Because your skin is telling you, I want that. I want that moisture, that hydration. Yes.
So I noticed when I wake up that my eyes aren't dry and hurting and I'm not rubbing them as much. Because like I said, I was going through the makeup. I do, like Steph says, we just do bare minimum, just like enhance or highlight or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was actually having to like put makeup on. I'm like, this is
you're like, oh,
taking
can't
too
be
long.
like this all crazy.
Yes, like on my eyes, and I'm just like, this is just too much, and because I can feel the heaviness. I'm like, okay, I can't. This is crazy. But once I started doing the humidifier, having that moisture constantly in my air.
And see, that's really you listening to your skin. Your skin's telling you, girl, I'm parched. Fill me up with some hydration. Give me some water. I'm thirsty.
Yes.
And that was a great way. That was a great way for you to combat that.
Yeah. Oh man. I was gonna tell you, this has been informative. And we gotta have you on again.
Yes. Oh my God, please. I would love to. Sorry, as you can tell, I'm a big old chatterbox. I'll go on forever if you let me.
Oh man.
And so are we. And so are we.
Oh man. Yeah. So because we're like past the time, but that's cool.
Oh yeah, no.
Girl, I got notes like crazy.
Perfect.
I got notes.
And hey, if you guys want like specific segments and things like that too, I'm so happy to do it because it's so much information for just a tiny little segment. Like we are only touching the surface. There's so much that you can learn and that you can do and have fun with it, whether you're just enhancing your natural features or you're trying to go cool on crazy with some fun colors and things like that. It's all about just prepping and everything like that. And like I said, listening to what your body is telling you to.
Yeah.
And it's not just skincare in general. If you're like, hey, I can't pull off a full routine all the time, I'm a little bit guilty. Look at food. Food and diet or exercise are such great ways too. We hold so much stress in the face. Get that stress out by putting it somewhere else, whether you're working out, whether you're eating some good food or just spending time with other people, just something to give that skin that refresh that it needs.
Definitely.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. This has been so amazing.
It's been so much fun.
Yes, everybody, we'll have her back on. Stop crying.
As long as you guys
Like,
want
we
me,
need
I'm
more.
here. Hello.
We will schedule that very soon for sure.
Definitely.
But yeah,
we will make sure and have all of Phoebe's information so you can get that and know where to get in touch with her.
yes.
And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share.
Yes, please.
Well, thank you for coming to the
Thank you
beach
for
house.
having me. I appreciate you guys so much, being able to share your platform and being able to educate people. Because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, my main focus is to make sure that at the end of the day, you feel good. I want you guys to feel good about yourself, because if you look good, or if you feel good, you look good. And if you look good, you're doing good.
That's
Yes.
right. I love it. I love it. So
I love it
so much. And
no, thank you.
we will see you guys next time again.
Bye.
on the beach house.